Hey everyone, my name is Chelsea. Welcome to Little Mountain Ranch. Welcome to my kitchen. I'm really happy to have you here with me today on this absolutely beautiful day. I woke up this morning to the sun streaming through my window, and there is a south wind, so it's really warm outside, and it feels very much like very early autumn or late spring out, and I will take it in November. This is really nice. We have not had any snowfall really to speak of. It snowed for one day and then melted right away, and that's it. And I am definitely here for it. So I have had a cold for the last couple of days, and it has been a bit of a doozy. I have had 2 different colds this fall already, which is actually really unlike me. Not sure what's going on. Maybe it's perimenopause, I don't know. But either way, I was not feeling well, and I was feeling poorly enough that I did not want to be in the kitchen cooking. And I cannot tell you how grateful I have been for all the ready-made meals that I have on my pantry shelves. I shared my pantry tour video a couple of days ago and showed you all of the ready-made meals I made this year, which has been far more than I've ever done in the past. And honestly, I am so incredibly grateful. So I thought it might be fun to show you some of the meals that we've had over the last couple of days that have been out of my pantry, because there were a lot of questions about how I actually use that food that's in my pantry. I also thought it might be fun to share with you some of the things that we made this year that we're going to change a little bit next year, and some of the things that we did this year that have been huge winners that we absolutely love. I also thought it might be good because it's one thing to can food and get it on your pantry shelves, and it's quite another to actually cook with it. I think it's similar to when you start first moving into having a garden and learning how to actually use that food in your recipes, in your meals. Canned food, I think, is very similar, so I thought this might also be helpful from that perspective for those of you that are just getting into canning. So one of the best things that we have been eating over the last few days of not feeling well has been this canned veggie soup that I made. So I made this with you guys, I think about 4 or 5 weeks ago now, when I did a whole bunch of different soups, and this vegetable soup has felt so good to our sick bodies. It's very easy to digest. All of the food, because this is pressure canned, is nice and soft. It's easy to digest. It's full of flavor. So I know when you feel sick, you probably can relate to this. Your taste buds don't work quite as well as they did, and everything just tastes kind of bland. This is so full of flavor. It's a little bit salty, and it was so nourishing, and we all felt better after we ate this soup. So this is one that we're actually going to have again for lunch today. So all that's in it is carrots, celery, onions. What else did I put in there? Some chopped tomatoes, and then turkey broth to top it off. And my goodness, this has been absolutely fantastic. One of the things that we did try, there's 2 here. We have our Sloppy Joe mix and our spaghetti sauce. So we've had both spaghettis and Sloppy Joes over the last couple of days. And we all agreed that I made both of these last year, and even though I used the same recipe, same method and everything, the ground beef tasted very different. And that was the one thing that was different in this recipe, is it was different beef than our beef from last year. A different breed of cattle, also different age. So all of those things can impact the texture of the beef. And we found, all of us felt like this, that the texture of the beef in here was not fantastic. The flavor was fine, but the texture wasn't very good. So what we've decided to do moving forward, just because we can't predetermine how the beef is going to can up, is to omit the beef from these sauces, both of them, and just fry up some beef and add that, because that's not a big deal to just fry up some beef. You can even do it from frozen if you forget to take it out of the freezer, and then add that to this. So moving forward, I'm not going to be adding beef to either of these recipes, Sloppy Joes or spaghetti sauce. Another one that was a huge hit for us is the chili base. And I know I mentioned this in the pantry tour, and you saw how much I canned of it, which was a lot. So I'd already tried it before I got into canning it on such a big scale. This stuff is absolutely fantastic. Makes really excellent chili. There's no beef in this, so you can make a vegetarian chili if you like, which I've done. I think I did that in a video last week. Or you can add some fried up ground beef to it. And absolutely fantastic. So we've actually had chili twice in the last week. So this is canned tomato juice, but I cannot thank those of you who recommended that I take the juice that I was just throwing away off of my canned tomatoes, because or when I was making the sauces and there's all the extra juice I wanted to remove, and actually just can it, because I have been using this to make my beef stews. The best thing ever. It's really, really good. So I'm glad that I have lots of jars of this on the shelves. We also have some condiments, and these are new condiments that we've tried, but we have been enjoying over this last week. One that we haven't. So the first one that I love, and I've talked about this before, is pickled asparagus. It's so good. This has a little bit of sugar in it, so it's a little bit sweet. And how I've been eating this is toast with mayonnaise, a slice of cheese, and then some of these on top. And when I shared this over on Instagram, I had probably an equal number of people say that that looked amazing and they wanted to try it, to people saying that they thought it looked really disgusting. So I guess it depends if you like asparagus and if you like pickled asparagus, but I think it is absolutely delicious. And this is something that I've had for an easy lunch in the last couple of days. So good. And then of course there's my red pepper jelly that I have been raving about since I made this a couple of weeks ago. This is a recipe from my childhood that I recently tracked down, and it is delicious. And this is, I think, maybe the third jar that we have opened since I canned this, because we all love it. It's really good. And this one is a little bit of a surprise to me. This is a spicy beet relish, and as you can see, we have been enjoying it. For those of my family members that don't like beets at all, they don't like this. Of course, it's made with beet and it is quite beety tasting. But for those of my kids that don't love beets, but they don't think they're disgusting, they actually really like this. And for those of us that love beets, think this is absolutely delicious. The only thing that I think I would do differently next time is add a little bit more cayenne pepper or red pepper flakes to it, so that it's a little, Alex is in the window, so it's a little bit spicier. Hang on, I'm just gonna let her in. Come on, Alex. I always feel bad when I'm editing my videos and I notice cats in the window the whole entire video, but I just don't notice when I'm actually filming. So I'm glad I noticed her there. Anyway, yeah, so this spicy beet relish is really good. And I do have a canning playlist that I will link probably down in the show notes for you. And then you can go and check out all these videos with all these recipes that I'm mentioning, because I've done pretty much all of them here on my YouTube channel. This one is a little bit of a surprise for me. So this is aronia jelly. So all throughout the summer, I was calling the berries that were actually aronia berries choke cherries, because I had forgotten I had planted an aronia bush there, or tree there. I guess it's kind of a tree slash bush, about 6 or 7 years ago, and I had forgotten, and they look very similar to a choke cherry. So that's what I thought it was. And then someone asked me if it was actually an aronia. And then I remembered that that's what I had actually planted. And I made jelly out of them. This was the first year I had enough to harvest. And this is now one of my favorite jellies. It is so good. The flavor is absolutely delicious. So I'm hoping that next year I get even more, because I think I only canned maybe 6 or 7 half pints like this of this jelly. And it's delicious. So been eating lots of that. One that I was not crazy about, and I honestly cannot remember if I canned this summer. I think I did. I think maybe I did it in the early spring, actually. Yeah, I think I did. But that was a balsamic onion jam. And when I first tried it, when it was fresh on crackers with some cheese, I thought it was great right after I first made it. But I opened up a jar the other day and tried it, and I found the flavor to be so incredibly strong. Like, you needed the slightest little smear on a cracker to get the flavor. So this isn't going to be one I'm going to make again. However, if you do love balsamic vinegar and you do love the flavor of onions and you like really strong flavors, then this might be one that you want to try. Okay, this one is not canned, but it is preserved, and these are refrigerator dill pickles. These are fantastic, and I did these ones, gosh, it must have been back in August, the beginning of August even. So it's just been sitting in the back of my fridge, and I pulled these out the other day and started eating out of this jar, and my goodness, are they ever good. And the thing that's fantastic about refrigerator pickles compared to canned pickles, this is particularly true with dill pickles, is that they stay completely crispy because they're not cooked. So if making your own pickles, dill pickles, is something you want to do, or you've tried it and you've tried canning and you don't like them because they're soft, this might be a really great option. You are supposed to eat these up within a couple of months, but I'm sure that we'll have these done by the end of this month because they're so good. I don't know why we didn't crack into the jar earlier, but delicious. So one of the other things that I thought we could try today, and it's kind of the perfect day to try, and that is our fire cider. So this fire cider has been sitting on my counter for about 5 weeks now, and I have never tried fire cider before. And I thought today might be a good day since I have a bit of a cold to try it. So the way that I have been told and that I have read is to just take an ounce of it and shoot it back. So I'm a little bit scared to do that, having never had tasted it before. So I'm going to try just a teaspoon and see if I can handle it, because it is supposed to be quite spicy. And as you know, I'm a little bit of a baby when it comes to spicy stuff. Oh, it's very strong. Oh my word. So this has ginger in it. It has jalapenos in it, lemons. I can actually smell the lemon. Has a whole bunch of onions in it. What else did I put in here? Oh, and horseradish and garlic. So it's like a powerhouse of strong flavors. So let's give it a try. It actually smells good. It doesn't smell terrible. And I have this has been steeping in apple cider vinegar. Yeah, it really doesn't smell bad. It does smell a bit spicy though. Definitely has some heat, but I do not mind that at all. Actually, cleared out my sinuses right away. It was like poof, but it's not spicy, and it might have helped that I kind of put the spoon way back and swallowed it, like it didn't really hit my tongue that much. But I feel pretty comfortable to take a little bit of a bigger shot of that. I had several people message me actually and say that they really actually liked the flavor of this, and I thought that was bizarre with all this combination of stuff that it would be good. But I can see what they mean because the flavor is really not that bad. Whew. Okay, here goes nothing. That actually had a lot more of a kick. Definitely warming my insides, that's for sure. So fire cider is definitely an apropos name because that is very fiery, but it's not spicy. At least this one isn't. It's hot, but not spicy, if that makes sense. I don't mind it. I don't love it, but I don't mind it. That is definitely something that I can see taking, and I certainly feel clear in my sinuses, so that's good. So we'll see if it actually works. What people do say to do is when you start, or you know you've been exposed to a cold, or you start feeling like you're getting sick, is to take it 3 times a day, like an ounce 3 times a day, as a preventative or as a way to kind of fight off the cold before it takes a hold. But I'm just going to start taking it now too, because why not? Definitely is not going to hurt me. There's all kinds of good stuff in there with all of those amazing antioxidants and powerhouse vegetables that are in there. Something else I wanted to share with you on the subject of antioxidants. So this is a totally new one for me. One of my neighbors has a garlic fermenter, which I had never even heard of before she shared it with me. And she fermented a bunch of garlic here for me, and I want to show you this. So this is called black garlic. I don't know how I had never heard of this before or tried it before, because it is pretty much the most delicious thing. So I know it doesn't look delicious. It's actually black garlic, and that's what it's called. If you look it up, it's called black garlic. This is supposed to be higher in antioxidants than raw garlic is, full of all kinds of other good stuff as well. But even aside the fact that it's supposed to be so good for you, it tastes incredible, like absolutely incredible. It's sweet. It's unlike fermented honey and garlic, or garlic and honey, which is something that I do all the time, that has the intense sweetness of the honey. This is just sweetness, like caramelized garlic kind of sweetness. I don't know, it's incredible. And I've been eating this with cheese and crackers. I had it on toast. I've been eating it just plain. It's absolutely scrumptious. So needless to say, I did order a garlic fermenter off of Amazon, and I made sure it was the similar one to the one that my friend has. And so I'm going to be trying this, and I'll do it with you when I get the machine. But friends, if you have not tried black garlic before, please do yourself a favor and go try it if garlic is something that you like, because it's so good. I just don't know, with being such a garlic lover as I am, how I went through life not knowing about this. So very thankful to my neighbor for sharing this with me. One of the things that Dan and I would like to do with you over this winter is bring you along on some of the projects that we have going on, because usually kind of spring, summer, and fall, we spend a ton of our time outside, growing food, working on the farm, building up infrastructure on the farm, all that kind of stuff. And then in the winter, we tend to move inside and do a lot of projects that didn't get done throughout the summertime inside. And we have been, our house is an old house, and so we've been working on it since we bought it 9 years ago to get it all updated and all that kind of stuff. We're making some good progress, but we have some fun projects left that we are going to be working on, and we thought it might be fun to bring you along with us for those projects. One of the first ones that we want to do that is something I've mentioned here, and that is converting the little closet that's at the top of the stairs, which I'll show you in a second, into a small pantry. And we have all of our big pantries downstairs, which is wonderful, but I would like to have some things stored up closer to the kitchen so that I don't have to be running up and down the stairs all the time, like bins of flour, cans of my tomato products, which I'll use multiple times during the week, and things like that. So we are going to make a mini pantry after kind of the inspiration of our big pantry downstairs up here. So let me show you. So we've put in a new door here recently. We have to put new trim. We've taken this door off and we have drywalled. This used to be paneling right here. So we have drywalled all of this, and then Dan also put a light right here, and then put a light on the inside of the pantry, what will be the little pantry, in anticipation of the fact that we are going to turn this into a little pantry. We have our main entrance, boot room area and everything downstairs. So we don't really need much more than these hooks that we have here. We have a little stool down here that we put gloves and stuff in, and then a place to put shoes over here, over here. So we don't really need to have an actual closet here. That's why we've decided to convert this space into something a little bit more usable for us, into a pantry. So it's actually, I'll go inside here. It's actually a fairly decent sized space, and it has the pretty log wall here. We are going to keep this pine paneling because it looks nice and there's no need to take it out, but we're going to take this shelf out, and then we are going to make shelves just like the shelves we have down in our main canning pantry down here. We're going to copy these exactly and put them all floor to ceiling in there, except we'll leave the bigger space like we have at the bottom here so that we can put some larger bins in underneath it. And I am so excited about that. I did want to quickly address, there was quite a few questions about the temperature in here. We do have our wood furnace directly outside of this door. So one of the things that Dan did when he built this is he insulated it really well. So it has really good quality insulation on this wall and in the ceiling. And this wall on this side is actually exterior wall, and it's concrete. So it's already quite cool. And then he put this vent in here that we can open and close, and vented it to outside. So we can actually keep the temperature in here very cool in the fall, the winter, and the spring when we have most of our food stored in here without any problem. So it's quite cool in here. And then this room that's back here stays even cooler because it's further away. It's significantly cooler in here because it's further away from the furnace, and the wall, the concrete wall back there, is exposed, so it stays super cool in here. And again, also this wall is insulated really well. So we kind of have two different zones of temperature in here. And this is one of the reasons why we store all of our flour and our beans in this, because the cooler temperature keeps them fresh longer. But it never gets super warm in here. For storing things like canned goods, keeping them out of direct sunlight, even keeping the lights off, and keeping it in a cool place is ideal for long-term storage. One of the other projects that we're going to be doing, this is kind of the last frontier of all the gutting that we've done down here. So we've taken out all the old insulation. That's an exterior wall. This is an exterior wall. In the entire basement, this was the last room that we needed to do because it was built in the 1970s. There was lots of rodents that had been in here at different points in time and things like that. So we wanted to get it rodent proof again by sealing up any cracks or anything and then re-insulating it. So this room here is going to be our office. We currently do not have an office space and we really need one. And I'm very excited about this. And you can tell, I don't know if you can tell that the sound is different, but we've actually insulated this whole room so that it can be really quiet in here when we're working. And it's gonna be really nice. And I can't wait to show you when it's all finished. So we're going to build the shelving that's gonna go in the upstairs pantry out of some of that reclaimed wood. And I thought I would take you down to the shop and show you what we're starting with. We're also going to build the desk that's going to go into our new office that we're working on out of that reclaimed wood. And we're going to make a coffee table, which I talked about a few years ago. We just hadn't gotten around to doing it, out of some of that reclaimed wood. So thought we would go out and I would show you that so you can kind of see the project right from the very beginning. Oh my goodness, it's beautiful. So there is no question that our channel revolves around food in one way or another. And usually what we do in the winter time is we share with you how we're using all that food that we put up throughout the summer and actually turn it into meals for our family. So not only are we going to be sharing with you all of that, like we always do, all of the food related stuff, we thought sharing with you some of the projects that we work on throughout the winter might be fun too. So down in the shop here, we have a ton of gray wood. You can see that big pile there. We have another big pile over here. So this wood is wood that we have been collecting from around the farm since we bought it. Old fences, old cattle sorting arena, some gray wood from old buildings, things like that. And we have been sticking that in piles. And as we have projects come up of things that we want to build in the house, we start drying some out. So that's what this is doing here. We have the heater on in here. We're getting this all dried out so that we can run it through the planer, start cutting it to size, and build some of these projects that I've been sharing with you. There's so many things I love about doing projects like this and repurposing wood. So one, it saves money. There's no question about that. Number two is it just looks so beautiful. And there's something about, this is fir, by the way. There's something about reclaimed wood that has just a story connected to it. So our kitchen table was built out of reclaimed fir from a 100-year-old cannery, I think it was, down in Vancouver. And then all of this wood is from 100-year-old cattle sorting arena, old buildings and things like that. So they have history. And that is something that I just absolutely love so much, being such a nostalgic person at heart like I am. So I just love that. And then of course, it's taking all of this that would otherwise go to waste and giving it a new lease on life. So I am really, really excited about these projects. We should be digging into these in the next couple weeks. Oh, I forgot. One of the other things that we built out of that wood is our stairs that go into our upstairs area are built out of that. And Dan wants to, if he has enough wood, he wants to do the stairs that go down into the basement in the same wood. So we have really used this, this wood everywhere in our house and have saved so much money by doing that. All right, friends, that is going to be it for me today. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Hi, Simon. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.